Hello, hello, hello. What is up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of The Dribble, the show where we take a closer look into the Boston Celtics, the rest of the NBA, and whatever else might come up. I am Luke Irwin, and I am your host. Like I said, bonus episode. This is a bonus episode, a little unconventional. We are going to have this entire episode be Major Wager. I'm going to bring in my degenerate gambling brother, Timmy KGB, aka T-Bone Steak, extra rare. No Hollandaise. He's going to be here in a little bit. And we're just going to break down the All-Star Weekend, right? We got the All-Star Weekend coming up. This weekend is the All-Star Weekend, and we're going to play some bets, three-point contest, skills contest. Yes, the celebrity game is involved in the bets. And we break it all down, what to watch, things to look forward to, and what we see in the upcoming weekend. And then that's actually it. So that's actually what we're going to do. So let's just get into it, because this is the dribble. Wait. Sorry. Technically, this is Major Wager? Timmy, how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode, a special episode of Major Wager. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, bud. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Obviously, we know
Yeah.
we're not doing that great. The Super Bowl happened the way that it happened, and both of you, you and I, were both left kind of in the dust with our bets.
Yeah, I mean, predictable. We talked all about it during the episode, but
Yep.
fading Mahomes, bad idea. Mahomes is an underdog. Andy Reid is an underdog. We had all these reasons, but foolishly, we still gambled on the Niners. Although it's basically exactly how I thought the game would go.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like sort of low scoring. I had the under as well. Just couldn't close it out. Frustrating, but really fun. Really good Super Bowl, I thought. Really fun game.
Great game, great halftime show. If you're a millennial or maybe Gen X, like you loved that halftime. I was all over that halftime. I thought that was awesome. The Little John thing. But to go over our bets from the Super Bowl, obviously, yeah, great game, overtime game, longest game in Super Bowl history. Yeah. Tom Brady had the first overtime game against that Falcons, the 28-3 comeback, but this was the longest ever game because they brought it all the way down to like 7 seconds left in the game. But maybe
it would have been shorter if Shanahan had actually run the ball. We don't have to go into it, but yeah, it makes sense that it was a long game.
It does not make sense.
They gave the Chiefs a lot of time to win it.
It does not make sense how teams keep doing the opposite of what the team has done all year long whenever they play the Chiefs. It reminds me of the Patriots. Obviously, that's what teams used to do against us for the longest time, is they would just forget how to play football. And it happened in the Ravens game. Ravens stopped running the ball. And then it happened here in the 49ers game. Terrible clock management, terrible play calling, throwing the ball. Like we've talked about it on 2nd and 6, late in the 4th. Like you have to stick to what you're good at. But
the Chiefs make you beat yourself.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Just like those Pats teams.
Yeah, just like those Pats teams. Exactly. And then Mahomes, he's going the full length of the field. He needs to
predictable.
He's going to get what he needs to get, right? If he needs 3 to tie it, he's getting it. If he needs a touchdown, he's getting it. If you give him especially over a minute. So it was disappointing, but super entertaining. And it was especially disappointing because of our bets here. So I had Christian McCaffrey over 89.5 yards. Christian McCaffrey with a touchdown, which he got. Kelsey with a touchdown, no dice. And 49ers money line, no dice. I bet $80 with a plus 550 odds to win 520. So I lose that, and I lose my 80. And I'm glad I did not bump that up to 100 like you always try to get me to do. I do the weird bets. All right, I'm not bumping it up anymore. And then Tim, you had Christian McCaffrey touchdown, hit that. Brandon Ayuk, 61.5 yards.
Not quite.
Very close, though.
He did have a couple big plays, but not. He needed one more.
Well, early in the game, I was thinking all of our bets were going to hit, but we'll talk about that. Of
course.
And then Christian McCaffrey, over 4.5 catches, which he did get.
He did have, yeah. I should have just gone with my instinct, which was to do straight McCaffrey. And I shouldn't have added that Ayuk one. You correctly pointed out that the matchup was going to be tough, but yeah, just didn't quite get there.
Didn't quite get there. But again, neither of us won. So nobody got a significant leap. But I did bet slightly less money. So I guess you can say that I won. I'm climbing the ladder
Sure,
in
let's
some
say
way.
that.
Some would say that, and those some would be me. I would say that. So Tim, you currently are sitting at $928. $928, and I am sitting at 800. So I'm 128 behind, but we have a really awesome bet this week. I'm super excited. Of course, it's NBA All-Star Week across the NBA. So let's get rid of the NFL. Let's leave the NFL. Let's go back into our sphere of the NBA. So we have some really fun bets. Obviously, like I just said, NBA All-Star Weekend. So let's get into some of those. Tim, talk about what we're going to be doing. How am I going to catch up to you this week? What are we betting on?
Yeah, so we could do the simple thing and just place a legitimate bet on, on a sports book, and we're not going to do that because we don't do the simple thing here at Mage Wage. That's what I'm calling it now. And
Mage Wage.
so I figured that we've been loving these drafts, these little draft style things we're doing. Let's do a sort of draft style thing with the All-Star game. So we're going to take all the various categories here of All-Star Weekend, and we're going to take turns, Luke and I, picking who we think is going to win those categories. And the person who gets the most correct wins the bet we make. Another gentleman's bet, right? So the categories are, we're going to have 7. Winner of the All-Star game, West or East. Winner of the Rising Stars Challenge game. Winner of the Dunk Contest. Winner of the Kia Skills Challenge. Winner of the 3-point competition. Winner of the celebrity game, that is the team who wins. And finally, the 7th category, the last category, the high scorer in the All-Star game. Just because that's easier than MVP, because if we don't get the MVP, with the high scorer, it'll just be the person who scores the highest of the 2 players
Right.
that Luke and I pick. So the way we're going to do it is, instead of going through category by category, in which we might have the same pick, right? We might have too much overlap. We're going to just do a draft style, and we'll start with whoever wins, like a coin toss, and you
Yep.
can pick your winner, who you think is going to be the winner in any category. And once that person or team is picked, that is off the board, and the other person might have to adjust their pick and pick someone else, right? So again, it can go out of order, but we're picking in these 7 categories, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the week, whoever has the most correct wins. And I think we talked about doing $200.
200. Let's
It's
do
the All-Star
200
game.
because
Maybe we're in Vegas. It's not in Vegas, is it? Where the hell?
no, it's not in Vegas. I
We
don't
just
know
had the
where. Oh,
Super Bowl in Vegas. I think
it's
every
in
major
Indiana.
sporting event should be in Vegas, by the way.
I think it's
Indiana,
in
sure.
Indiana.
What happens in Indiana stays in Indiana. Let's throw 200 on this.
What happens in Indiana stays in Indiana because nobody really leaves Indiana.
Yeah, that's probably why.
That's why that happens. Yeah.
This is occurring to me now, and we can talk this out on the pod here, but so I said earlier, you win or you lose, and if the person that neither of us picks wins for an event, neither of us get a point. But it should probably be the highest score. These dunk things have a high score, right? And 3-point, like we can quantify that.
Yeah, I mean, if your guy comes out as a runner up and the other guy gets out first round,
then you get the point. So
then
there's
you get the
8.
point.
What I'm saying, yeah, there's 8 contestants, for example, in this event. So
Yeah.
the odds that neither of us will pick the right person are pretty high. So we should have it for the bet. We should have it be the person who picks the person who advances farthest or has the highest score in all these events, right?
Yeah.
So that we can actually calculate who wins more accurately.
I think that's a good idea.
Between
I think
us.
if we do that, then especially for these longer, like more people involved, obviously on All-Star and stuff like that, and that's just you hit or miss.
Yeah, there are certain ones. Yeah.
Yeah, on these ones where it's more contestants, I think that's a good idea. So that's what we'll do. Everybody listening, that is what we are doing. The closest to the pin, essentially, with the ones with a lot of people. So you do get a point. Okay, I will get a coin out of my.
This is your major wager balance.
This is the major wager balance. Exactly.
Yeah,
I have to count every penny. All right, ready? Heads or tails, Tim? You call it in the air.
Okay. Tails never fails.
Oh, it is tails.
Yay! Oh, I wanted to go first.
Yeah, well, there's one pick that I think is pretty obvious. So just to make sure to solidify, We are what we can pick throughout the draft, right? Or not necessarily draft, but what we can pick as we go down is any category. It does not have to be in order. If we want to jump ahead to a category that we want to jump on, right, we can just call that one right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna kick it off by selecting the winner of the AT&T Slam Dunk competition.
Nice.
And I'm gonna go with Jaime Jaquez. No, just kidding. I'm going with Jaylen Brown. And,
Nice.
was that what you were talking about? Wanting to pick?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I like Jalen here. It's so cool, by the way, that he's participating in this. And I really I hope and wish that slam dunk competition would go back to its days of former glory where all stars and big players actually participate. Not that
Yeah.
I don't love Mac McClung because everyone loves is everyone's favorite player. So but yeah, I mean I do love Jaquez, honestly. I love him so much. That'll be reflected in a later pick.
Yeah.
And but it's Jalen. Come on, he's gonna do some great stuff out there. He's an electric dunker. I feel like this has been his best dunking season.
Yes.
Uh, I that's just anecdotal, obviously, from watching the games, but yeah, I'm ready to pick a Celtic here. Let's go, Jalen.
I love that pick. I love that pick. And, a couple years ago, I think I've mentioned it on the pod before, but a couple years ago, Jaylen Brown said, I forget who it was on the team, but somebody with a lot of hops was on the team. And he basically said, I think I'm past those days of jumping like that in an interview. And he had his lowest dunk count of that season. And then the next season, he had the lowest in his career. And I was thinking, is Jaylen Brown off of that? What he does is he done posterizing people, but it's true. He's back this year. He is
Yeah,
10.
he's taken some souls for sure
He,
this year. But
yes.
he's such an in-game dunker.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
just like so much of his dunk prowess is about posterizing people and about dunking over people. So we'll see what he pulls out for the thing. But I like that pick. And to be clear with this, like for example, like the dunk competition, if the person who wins is not selected by either of us, neither of us get a point for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That just eliminates.
it's not like highest score. It's just like that.
Well, that's a great first pick. You're right. Definitely an in-game dunker. So it'll be interesting. Like, how much does power? Because he has a lot of power. Like, how much does he doesn't have a ton of hang time? He has a lot of like power and strength. Like, how much does that go into the voting? Okay. So my first one. There's two that I could go with. That was one of the ones that I was going to do, but there's two that I could really go with. I'm going to go ahead and take what I think is easy money. And I just said that, but that means I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to pick the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to pick the All-Star game because there are two notable injuries in this All-Star game that I'm not saying it's going to tilt anything, but also just looking at the roster, I'm going to pick the Western Conference to win the All-Star game outright because look, the West has some killers. Like I mentioned, the injuries to the Eastern Conference, Joel Embiid is injured, Julius Randle is injured. In their place is Scotty Barnes and Trae Young. Trae Young was my snub last week. So, I mean, he'll do great. He'll hit a couple threes. But look at this lineup for the West. Just like think about these players against anybody. I love these. Jason Tatum, all these guys. I love these. Giannis. You got Katie, Luca, Anthony Edwards, Booker, Jokic, Braun, Steph, SGA, PG, Kawhi. I mean,
Yeah, no, I fully agree with this.
yeah.
I had the West winning as one of my earliest picks too. It's I mean, nothing's a lock, but it's for the reason you said. I mean, Embiid especially just losing him, but although Trae Young could light it up in the All-Star game. He's got I think the sort of game that translates to the zero defense atmosphere of this game. But yeah, good pick.
Yeah, there'll be definitely a moment of him and Steph trading. That's why I like the East West, kind of going back to that a little bit. But I can see him and Steph trading a couple logo threes, or maybe him and Damian or something like that. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I just think that too many killers on that team not to pick the West.
Yeah. So all right, my next pick is gonna be, the Rising Stars Challenge.
Oh,
Because I think there is a team that is sort of above the others. So This is broken up this year, by the way, into 4 teams.
Yeah.
We should say there is Team Tamika Catchings, Detlef Shrimp. Shout out to Detlef, love him.
Yeah. Love to see him
Pau
back.
Gasol and Jalen Rose, all legends, all one-time rising stars.
Yep.
All right, so I am picking with zero hesitation.
I bet.
Team Pau Gasol.
Great pick.
Yeah,
Great.
it's far and away the best roster here. Now let's examine this. All right. So we've got Bilal Coulibaly of the Wizards. No slouch, doesn't get a ton of recognition in the media. Jaime Jaquez. I just love Jaquez. I mean, he's coming off he's missed a bit of time. He'll be healthy. He'll play. Brandon Miller, who has been electric, scorching hot, looks amazing lately. Ojimski, however you say it, the guy on the Warriors, waiver wire pickup on my fantasy team, single-handedly winning me weeks these days. He's awesome. He's been amazing. Jabari Smith Jr., always like him. Cason Wallace, sorry, and then Wemby. So it's just it's a great team, and the other the other teams, we don't have to read all the rosters, have some great players on them too, obviously. But I really like that one. So yeah, Team Pau for me, that's a lock. That's a good one.
No, that is a good one. So I think there's 2 teams out of these rising stars that are the only sensible picks, really. And
you think Tamika is the other one?
I'm not going to tell you what I think because I'm going to pick that when I pick that.
Pick that when you pick that.
I'm going to pick that when I pick that. But that's a great pick, man. What a group in Wemby lately. 10 blocks in that game.
I know. He's amazing.
Is he going to get a quadruple double?
He is. Yeah. I look, if anyone can, he can do it. He is electric, man. I love watching him so much, even though that team is miserable.
I got my next pick, and it's actually funny that you picked that one because it was going to be my next number 1 pick. I was going between this and the one I picked number 1. So skills challenge. I'm going skills challenge, and I think it's I'm going to say it's a no-brainer, but again, whenever I do that, I end up eating my words. I'm going team all-star for the skills challenge.
Interesting. That's actually not the one I was going to pick. So I'm going.
Oh, awesome. I think I know what you're going to pick. And I think it's going to be, I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to say, because I'm just going to read them real quick. You have team top picks, which is obviously Banchero, Anthony Edwards, Wemby. But my issue there is Wemby. How is he going to do in the open court, really? And I know he's good, but the passing, you could really, there's some things that are pretty fine-tuned that you have to be able to do. And I know he's fantastic, but in a big stage on an all-star as a rookie, is he going to make those little chest passes, the bounce passes, or is he going to be stuck on there for 3 tries? I see him stuck. Okay. And then you have Team Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. So Team Pacers, great, but I'm just not feeling it. Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young. You have Trae Young again in his 3rd, including the All-Star game now, his 3rd All-Star appearance this weekend. It's going to be a lot of Trae Young. Tyrese Maxey, potential most improved player, and Scotty Barnes, who has been great. So, yeah.
Yeah, good pick. Yeah, I can see that happening. I should have pulled this up, but didn't a group of bigs win it last year? Unexpectedly. I feel like you always think the skills, it's guards, pick the guards, but I don't know. We got some skilled big men. We'll just leave that for later. But I like the pick. I do. I mean, these are some skilled boys. Yeah,
and they're guys who have met a little bit of pressure, right?
Yeah.
So all of them are a little bit on the older side, or not on the older side, but just play prominent roles on their team, on winning teams. So,
all right. So, man, all right. What I want to do, I want to do 3-point next. This is a loaded field.
Yeah.
Look at this. Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, who won it last year, Larry Markkinen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. Crazy field. Great shooters. This is pure feel, okay? Because any of these players could win. But I'm going with Jalen Brunson.
Oh.
I really think he's just like, I don't know why. I mean, like, I looked up stats. I mean, it was really between him and Halliburton for me. And, they're both sitting at similar stats on the season, just around 40% from 3. It doesn't really matter. These guys are great shooters. And, just looking at the field, sort of, Brunson jumped out to me. I think this is his event. And I feel good about Jalen here. Really no justification for it because anyone could win this, but I like him.
You don't need justification for it. He was my first pick for the 3-point contest. I think he's great.
Yeah.
He's on a hot streak. He's having a moment, as they say. And a lot of times in All-Stars and NBA and with the stars are out, a guy who is having a moment has a lot of confidence and typically tends to win these type of contests. Malik Beasley, actually, out of all these people, has the highest 3-point.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which,
more volume, obviously.
I was going to say the volume definitely changes that. And at the lowest, obviously, is Damian Lillard, but then you have to factor in his clutch shooting and who he is and when he's in that mode. And he won last year because of that same exact thing. That's good.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if he repeated.
All right, my turn now. My turn. And I'm going to do, oh boy. All right, I'm going to do, okay, for my NBA All-Star game. Actually, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the stars, the real stars, the situation. I'm going to the celebrity game.
The celebs.
The celebrity game. The game where people, if you are our age, which is 30 plus, you don't know half of the people on these teams. But
yeah, it was humbling to look
at
this, honestly.
I've opened up the celebrity page, the roster, and I know, of course, there's some basketball people. Metta World Peace is on one of the teams. Obviously, Micah Parsons from the Cowboys is on this team or on one of the teams, and CJ Stroud. So there's a couple of familiar names, but there are some people on here that I just don't know. But I'm just going to put my age to the side and I'm going to pick. And I know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Stephen A. Smith's team. It's Stephen A. Smith versus Shannon Sharp. I'm picking Stephen A. Smith mainly because Lil Wayne is one of the assistant coaches.
Yes,
it's my biggest analysis right here is Lil Wayne. And then, of course, Metta World Peace is going to probably punch, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, at least 6 of the other players. So Metta World Peace will get them out of the game. And then CJ Stroud. And there's a guy named Jack Ryan.
Sure, Jack Ryan. Yeah.
Love that guy. Isn't that a superhero? So yeah, I'm picking Stephen A. Smith's team for the celebrity game.
Dude, if you've got an Olympic high jumper on your team, you're gonna win. I mean, this is great. Celebrities are just like us; they jump real high. Here's the deal. I agree with you on this one. I also would have picked Stephen A's team, and I love the Weezy thing. Like Weezy's gonna be drawing up like ATOs. He's gonna be having them run Spain pick and rolls. It's gonna be a well-oiled machine. It's Weezy's just a born coach. Yeah, I love it mostly because of the Metta World Peace element of it, and I think he'll bring a real energy to the team. That energy will be terror.
It'll be terror.
It'll be great. And I just love him.
For all involved, for the fans and the players. Terror for
also,
everybody.
Jennifer Hudson. Let's go. An actual celebrity. They were really taking a lot of shots.
Over under on Jennifer Hudson threes.
Oh my God, dude. It's got to be at least 3.5.
Yeah, at least 3.5. I was going to say she's going to be.
She's making it rain. She's on here for a reason,
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to be. I don't know. I'm not familiar with her game really, but yeah, she got great pipes. All right. That's good. Good pick. I would have picked that.
Thank you.
All right, celeb game. All right. So I think the only category that it's sensible for me to pick now is the only thing that neither of us have done, which is the high scorer of the game.
Yeah.
Because everything else, you've picked, so there's no competition to it. I think there's a reason we haven't done it. I think it's very difficult this year to predict who is going to be the high scorer of the All-Star game. Last year, of course, it was Roy Jason. Great game, 55 points. Yeah, man, it's tough because you've got Giannis, who's if you look back at his All-Star game performances, he's had huge games. He had 2 points last year just because he didn't play. I'm not saying he's going to do that again this year, but LeBron also last year played a total of 14 minutes. I feel like Giannis and LeBron as team captains are not going to play enough. I don't know.
I agree.
Again, Giannis could play 30 minutes and have 70 points and make me look stupid. I was going to pick Luka. Luka's had frankly terrible performances in every All-Star game he's been in. I think he averages 7 points.
Are you going to pick the person that I think you're going to pick, which is the person I'm going to pick?
Well, were you going to pick Tyrese Halliburton?
Oh, no.
So
wow.
The reason I'm picking Halliburton is I actually have justifications for this.
Well, that's good.
So first of all, he's starting, which I think matters.
Yeah.
In terms of minutes distribution, not that it's but yeah, it sort of does matter. I didn't want to pick someone I wanted to pick maybe Trae Young, but then I was like, well, is he going to play 12 minutes and not be as much of a factor. It can go that way sometimes with the All-Star game. And so I like Tyrese partially because of some of the what you mentioned earlier, like the injuries that are forcing out some players on the East. He shoots threes.
Yeah.
They're going to be wide open. Yeah, I could just see him going crazy for 40s or somewhere in the 40s or 50s. I can see a lot of people doing it, but I like that pick. Although this is tough to me, I have no idea who's gonna have a great game. It's always hard to predict.
Well, it's going to be tough. I think that for you said high in points, right? That this is your
It's
pick
just
for high in
points,
points.
just points. Yeah.
Just points. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Okay.
gonna have the highest point total?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. We've all picked, or at
We
least
picked
one,
yeah.
right? We've picked one. Okay. So I'm gonna just piggyback off what you just did, just to keep it
Sure, symmetry.
yeah, exactly, some symmetry and some synergy. That's what we do here on Major Wagers, symmetry and synergy. My all-star high points is gonna be Devin Booker.
It was my other one.
Yeah,
But he's not starting.
He's not starting. But
The only reason I didn't.
This is why I think so. So it was between him and Anthony Edwards for me, actually. And they're both coming off the bench. But in NBA history, there have been 12 people total to come off the bench and win All-Star MVP. It was a lot of like Bill Sherman back in the day doing that, which is awesome. He did it a couple times. Then Shaq did it in 2004 and 2009. And then the last person to do it was Russell Westbrook, who was just like this guy, like who could just, obviously we all know, just come out of the gate and go crazy. So I think Devin Booker has a chance to just like come off the bench, score a quick 20, and then the coach be like, we're just going to ride with like, because there's so much talent on the West.
Yeah.
And I think that I think he's just going to go off. He's one of those guys. He scored 70 in the Garden against the Celtics. I just think he's one of those guys. So I could see him going for, I don't want him to contend or beat Jason Tatum's 55, which is the most ever in an All-Star game.
Is that the most ever? I was going to ask. That's crazy.
It's the most ever, 55 points, double nickel. Jason Tatum last year, All-Star game, won MVP. Remember it.
Double nickels on the dime.
Yeah. So that's my pick for high end points. What do you got next?
That's good. I like that because Booker definitely profiles as the kind of guy who could take over an All-Star game also. Cool. Okay. So like you said, we've done all the categories, so it doesn't really matter where I go. Let me go to let's do the skills competition.
Nice.
Because you picked the team All-Star, and let's see. So I like team top picks here, which consists of Paolo, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama. These are bigger gentlemen, and so I do think, like, I should have pulled this up, but can you do that? Can you pull it up? Who won last year? Anyway, I think it was bigger dudes.
Hey, what's up? This is Luke. So just got to fact check this right here. Tim was telling me to look up who won the skills challenge last year, and he was convinced it was a bunch of big men. But let me key you in on something. It was actually Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton from the Team Jazz in 2023. So Jordan Clarkson, point guard, Colin Sexton, point guard, and Walker Kessler, yes, 7 feet tall, but like not a team of big men. So sorry, Tim. Theory debunked. Back to the episode.
But yeah, like these guys are skilled. Like Paolo's an incredibly skilled player. Edwards, as we know, and then Victor, as you mentioned, he's a big guy, but great passer. And I think these guys can do it. So they jumped out to me as the pick here. Obviously, I think you probably picked the safer bet in Barnes, Maxey, and Young, but yeah, I like this team top picks here.
Okay, I love that pick. That's kind of the only sensible pick off of the one. It was between that and the other. I don't really see anything happening with whatever that stupid. What is it? Team Pacers. Team Pacers doing it in one single
Pacers.
team. Why Team Pacers? Oh, Indy. That makes sense, actually.
I feel like Indiana's taking a lot of strays in this pod.
They are, but they deserve it. They've been watch Hope's Hotel in this episode because they deserve it. They've been on a downward trajectory. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the 3-point contest. You obviously picked Jalen Brunson, which was my first pick. I love Jalen Brunson. I think he's having a moment. Like I said, he's going to do it. But I am going to pick Trae Young, who currently averages 37.3 percentage from 3-point land this season, and he was snubbed, but he got it, but through injury. So he obviously puts a lot of pride on his 3-point shot. I think he's going to go be locked in for this contest. And I think he's one of those guys, Ice Trey. I think we're going to see some of this right here, Timmy.
Yeah.
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 See some
I
of
like
that
that.
at the end of the competition.
This is the nobody believed in me 3-point win. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a narrative there. Yeah, with Trey. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the efficiency of some of these other guys, but I do think he has that that clutch gene. That,
Yeah.
he's a gamer. He's gonna yeah, that's cool. It's a cool pick.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of at the dregs here. We're picking things that we don't want to pick, obviously. I'll pick the celebrity game, which, I was riding hard for Team Stephen A.
Yeah, you have so much
and
invested.
that hurt to have that taken. But I love Micah Parsons. That's the end of the list of the people I know on this team. Basically, man, are we totally lame? Dylan Wang, though, Dylan Wang's his step back though.
Dylan Wang,
not bad.
Dylan Wang and the Indiana Pacers catching strays.
And you got Quincy Isaiah, who's really a rim protector, as we all know.
I was gonna say his defense. He'll need that in the game.
And then Kai Cenat and Connor Daly, all those guys speak for themselves. We've talked about them. We've talked about them ad nauseum.
Who are these people?
But I think they're gonna win Shannon all day.
Exact team.
Those are the days when it was like Win Butler and Kevin Hart. Come on, can we get those guys back?
No, we can't. They cost way too much money. They're on the sidelines getting drunk.
As they should be.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the dunk contest now. I was thinking Jacob Toppin because he's Obi Toppin's brother, but I think he's actually going to lay an egg. I don't think it's going to – people are going to be like, just like Obi Toppin? And it's going to be like, no, maybe not. Is he Obi Toppin? No, he's not. He's Obi Naughton. That was bad.
That was hot.
Cut it, though. I'm going to ride with it. I'm going with – just say it.
Jaime Jaquez.
No,
Mac McClung.
No.
Okay.
I'm going with Mac McClung, dude. Come on.
The McClung Pete.
McClung Pete. I think he's going to I think people are going to go, oh, he can't do it again. And he's going to do it again. Obviously, my first pick was Jaylen Brown, but I'm taking Mac McClung. Got to go all in for the major wager.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Do you?
No, I don't really. I mean, I don't like any of these guys besides Jaylen. I don't really. I mean, Jaquez is great, but is he even that explosive of a dunker?
I don't think so. It's weird. They put some people in the dunk contest that I just don't. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is great, and he has a poster almost every other game. But like some of these other guys, Jacob Toppin, sure, I know Obi Toppin, but I don't know this man as a dunker.
Okay, so good pick there. All right, I'm gonna go with the All-Star game, the East, because the West has been selected by my brother.
Yep.
I think there's an argument to be made for this East team, though. I mean, this is not super lopsided.
Right.
Lots of great guys here, and that Embiid spot and Randall, as you mentioned. But the guys replacing them are no slouch. Also, we didn't mention Donovan Mitchell, another guy who can go crazy in the All-Star game. Lots of great guards, Brunson and Maxey, and yeah. So there's a lot of really great players here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the East as if I have an option.
Yeah, you don't have an option. You have to pick the East. I got the West. You got the East. And I think if it weren't for the injuries, this would be a much closer call. But the Joel Embiid injury is big, and obviously Randall. I mean, because then you have other guys in there, but I just think the West is so loaded right now with just sharpshooters and offensive talent.
Yeah,
yeah.
And guys who are suited to perform well in the All-Star game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that leaves me with the final one, the Rising Stars. You had said that Tamika.
Oh, you don't like it?
Do Tamika Catchings, but I'm actually not. I'm going with Team Jalen.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Team Jalen, I think the worst team is Detlef. I don't know why they gave Detlef. Detlef.
It's all I think it's G League players
yeah, I think so. It's
not
great.
G League players.
But obviously Team Jalen.
But Mac McClung.
Mac, I know. I saw Mac, but I already gave Mac his flowers for the dunk contest. I already picked him.
Your boy.
Just across the board pick Mac McClung. I don't think that's bodes well for my final wager score. But yeah, Team Jalen has Chet Holmgren, has Jalen Williams. It has Shaden Sharp. It has
Walker Kessler. Yeah, it's good.
One of the biggest ones is Derek Lively. I think he's been great for the Mavs. So yeah, and then obviously, Walker Kessler, like you just said. So that team is stacked too. I think it'll come down to Team Jalen or Team Powell. Obviously, you pick Team Powell. I think those two. Tamika's good. You got Banchero, obviously. You got Jaden Ivey on Tamika. You got a lot of really good people. Scoot, Jalen Dern. So you have good players.
Yeah.
I just think that Team Jalen has just a couple better players. So I'm picking Team Jalen.
I like it.
Hell yeah. So that's it. Those are our picks. I'm going to read off what I have for my picks going to All-Star. And then Tim, if you want to read off what you have.
I don't know. I didn't write them down.
Oh, that's fine. I might have written it down. All right. I had in the skills challenge, the All-Stars, and Tim had in the skills challenge team top picks. In the 3-point contest, I had Trae Young. Tim had Jalen Brunson. In the dunk contest, I had Mac McClung, the legend of the dunk contest. Cannot vote against Mac McClung. And Tim had JB Jalen Brown, Mr. In-game dunker. Rising stars, I had Team Jalen with Chet and Jalen Williams leading the way, and Tim had Team Pow with a bunch of unknown people leading the way. And in the All-Star game, points, like who would score the most points, I had Devin Booker in this, and Tim had Tyrese Halliburton for his high points, which interesting pick. He's an assist guy, but that's fine. We'll just let Tim have that. In the NBA All-Star game, I picked the dominating, the powerful, the talented West, while Tim picked the depleted, but still talented, and we love Jason Tatum, East. And finally, obviously, the game of the week, the celebrity game. I picked the Stephen A. Smith team, and Tim picked Shannon Sharp's team. So those are the picks. Love those picks. Super excited. Gonna be a super fun. It's always fun. Obviously, best All-Star weekend in all of sports. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of celebrities out.
Honestly, Luke, is it Shannon Sharp? I didn't even know that. I just saw Shannon. I was like, who's Shannon?
Shannon's team.
I didn't know I was picking. Now I feel better about my pick because I love Shannon Sharp.
No, Shannon Sharp's gonna be a good coach. You watch it. He's gonna get those guys fired up.
That's great. Yeah. Wow. Well, Luke, this is why we do this. The games are fun, the playoffs, the finals, but it's the All-Star game that really matters. And so this is why we do it. So I can't wait to watch every single event because I will be glued to my TV.
I will not leave that
All-Star game. Wink.
This is, like you said, why we do it. This is why I did the Dribble, to get to this point. There are going to be no more episodes of the Dribble or Major Wager, because at the end, all you want to do is truly just watch the celebrity games. We can do this. I'm super excited about all of these picks, though.
The stars are out tonight.
The stars are out tonight.
I hope they're going to have a red carpet at the celebrity game.
They should do that.
They should. I mean, give them the start.
Who are you wearing? Nike. Who are you wearing? Nike.
Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Who are you?
Who are you wearing? Who are you? Oh, you're in the All-Star game. Okay. Who are you wearing? And what do you do exactly? How are you in the All-Star
for a living? Yeah.
Oh, man. But again, it's going to be exciting. And then the NBA season stops or does something else after that. But I love all these picks, and I love my picks, especially. I'm feeling confident walking in 200. And this is gentlemen's, right? It's just 200.
Yeah, just a straight bet.
Straight bet. Love it. All right, man. Well, may the best man win. And I'm sure I'll be texting you a lot throughout this whole thing.
Awesome, man. See you soon.
See you, dude. Peace.
Bye.
Okay. All right. That was pretty good. That was good. We talked about a lot there. A lot of All-Star breakdown. Super exciting weekend. Always is a great weekend. I'm super excited for the All-Star weekend. Obviously, the Boston Celtics have some representation, as they should. Best team in the league. Jason Tatum starting in the All-Star game, his 5th All-Star game. And Jaylen Brown in the dunk contest. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, amazing dunker, in-game dunker. It's great to have a Celtic back in the dunk contest, honestly, since D. Brown. So we're going to see what Jaylen Brown can do. I think he's going to win it. I know I got Mac McClung as my pick, but I think JB is going to pull it out. All right. Well, that's it. Like I said, just Major Wager today. Tune in on Monday for a regular episode of The Dribble. We're going to break down the whole first half of the season for the Celtics, since the All-Star break typically marks about the halfway point. We're going to dive into it, give out some player grades, give out some coaching grades, and talk about what we see moving forward, and kind of look at what we did during the trade deadline to get ready for the playoff push. So until then, I don't know. Until then, I don't know why I said until then. I never say until then. But until then, this has been the Dribble.